Welcome back to the Green Talk. Today, we sit down with someone who chooses a path that isn't allowed but always necessary. Someone who stepped into the fire of building people, not just managing them, but believing in them. From the heart of K&D Landscaping in California, a company built by grit and vision, we welcome a woman who carries that mission forward every single day. Shantel Perez, welcome to the show. How are you doing today, Shantel?
Hi, that was a beautiful intro. Thank you so much. I'm doing good. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. I'm looking forward for this episode. I'm glad that finally we were able to connect and be able to coordinate time and days and sit down together. So before we start talking about titles and job descriptions, I would like to start with an introduction. So before K&D, where how Chantel started in the green industry?
Actually, K&D is my first job that had anything around landscaping. I came from
Really?
a previous company. Yeah, we did construction, but instead of building it, we would demo it. So I came with a background of demolition and office management and whatnot on that side of the world.
Okay, well, interesting. I mean, many people nowadays in the industry came from different backgrounds, but it's interesting how everything can fit into our industry in the green industry. And
Yeah.
what shape your work ethic?
I think seeing my mom, she was a single mother of 5 kids, and she kind of always taught me that there was no second choice besides giving up, continuing to work. No matter what was thrown at you, you got to pick yourself up and keep going and figure it out. So I think I got my work ethic from that. I know it must have been really, I can't imagine now having 5 kids, being a single mother, and having to not just raise them on my own, but provide for them. She never let us even have a concern of where our next meal was going to come from, or if we were going to have a roof over our head, or if we were going to have the trendy clothes for school that year. It was always, she figured it out, and she never let whatever challenges came bring her down. So I think that kind of shaped me and my work ethic and had to keep going and grinding.
Beautiful. That tells a lot about the responsibility, the empathy with others, especially become or coming from the mother side, right? And
Yeah.
challenging early station life. And let me ask you this: there was any moment in your life, either as a child or young adult, that teach you about resilience?
Resilience.
Resilience.
Yeah, probably again with my mom. I think our upbringing was, we had a lot of challenges with, mental health being a challenge, and alcohol and drug abuse being a challenge growing up, and just, again, having to work through it and not having the, just always seeing her be like, it's not an option to give up. It's not something that whatever gets thrown at you, we're going to get through it and we're going to figure it out a way. And we did. And seeing that just kind of also shaped that whatever gets thrown at you, you got to work through it, figure it out.
Awesome. And do you believe that those moments in your life, help you to realize that portion on you of helping others as well? Sometime, I mean, in the future of your career, like now.
I think so, because my mom, she shaped me a lot. She was a social worker. So, hearing a lot of the stuff that she would come home and just talk about, she went through a lot of different, avenues in her own career, from helping, with people who needed housing. And she also worked with children in abuse and people in domestic abuse, and just seeing the way she was always like, no matter what people went through or no matter what challenges occurred, like she always wanted to help. And even if it would go against the grain or something not everybody would agree with, she always just wanted to be a helping hand, no matter what it meant for that person or in her career path and whatever she was doing. And she always brought that home. And she would, talk about like, I can't believe this thing what happened, but this is what I did to figure it out. Or I feel so bad for, this situation. And it brought it back to even our family, like cousins growing up, you know, in our culture, it's like something happens and they're like, get out of the house. And she'd always bring in our cousins. So we had cousins and friends and families living with us at random times,
Yeah.
just because she always had her doors open for anybody who needed the help. So I think that also shaped a lot of where I get that from.
Beautiful, no, and I'm sure that's why a lot of the main reasons why you are the woman you are today,
Yeah.
not just in life but also in the position that you currently are doing. That's awesome, and I know you mentioned it in different times, your mom, and that's great. But there is somebody else in your life that believed in you before you start believing in yourself.
Honestly, I don't think I have anybody in else that I can off the bat think of that has,
That
made
important.
that big of an impact on me. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, having parents, mom and dad, and in this case, your mom, making that huge impact in your life. That's great and very
Yeah.
very important. So thank you
Definitely.
for that little the background of introduction,
Yeah. Of
personal
course.
life. Now let's talk about K&D. You
Indeed.
mentioned that it is your first landscape company
Mm-hmm.
experience in the industry. So how that happened? How you ended up in K&D?
No, it's an interesting story. Like I said, I came from a demolition background, construction demolition, and I worked my way up there. When I started there, I had zero experience at all, and became an office manager and helped run the place. And I wanted more opportunity. The company that I was working for previously was very small, and it was only three of us in the office, kind of manning everything. And I saw an opportunity where I wanted to be able to help out the employees and help, you know, give them more opportunity and widen the jobs that they had and the information that they were receiving and just the overall support they were receiving. And I reached a level in that company where my hands were kind of tied with a lot of that. They weren't so open to change, and it was kind of like, this is where we're at and this is what we need, and you're great at your job here and we need you to do this, and like, this is kind of as far as you're gonna go. And I didn't love that. I've always kind of been like, okay, well, I'm great at this, but like, what's next? Like, you get to a point where I wanted to continue to grow, and that unfortunately wasn't the right place for me. And K&D very much showed that this is the place for growth and opportunity, and it was really kind of what got me interested in the company. And I applied. They were great in their hiring process. They're very much, wanting to interview me, interested in me and my background and my experiences and whatnot. And that kind of led me here. Just the
Awesome.
opportunity and what they kind of were offering.
Awesome. Great. And what was your first impression of the company?
Realistically, I was like, this company, it sounds too good to be true. Like, I Googled it, and it was mom and pop. Oh, it wasn't mom and pop. They were big at that point, but it was family owned and ran, and they still are. And when I got on their website and I saw the picture of, all the employees lined up in front of the trucks. And I stalked them on social media and saw everything that they were doing. And I was like, what? That's really
That's cool.
nice. Yeah. And then when I sat in on the interviews, we use a cool software called Predictive Index, and it asks you to answer a couple questions before you go into the interview, so they have a little more insight on you. And they're totally normal questions of how would you handle the situation, or what's your first, instinct on how to answer this. And when I sat in on the interview with Shane, which is Justin's brother,
Mhm.
he read it and told me, is this how you are and this how you handle situation and this blah blah blah. And I sat there and I blurted out like, how do you know me? And it was like one of those moments where it showed me that they care about every person in their company from start, from the time you interview to, getting through the interview process, and now seeing how much they truly care about their employees. It was that's where I was like, whoa, this company doesn't seem real. So that was my first impression. It was a great
Awesome.
one.
What was the breaker? What make you like say yes, this is where I want to be and start building something? It was the hiring
It was
process
through
or
the interview process. Yes,
yeah.
just seeing everything that they were talking about, and they talked to me about the vision and Justin's story and Kendall's story, and just seeing how integrated the family was in the day to day and where they wanted to go, and how much like not only them grow and the company grow, but the people in it as well. I think that was the biggest thing for me. Whereas
Oh,
where I was like,
cool.
this
And
is where I need
it's
to be.
it is important to say that because I feel like a lot of companies struggle with that, the hiring
Yeah,
process. And
absolutely.
in previous episodes, I sit down with Jay Worth, and we talk about that, the hiring process, right? How to make the interview, or no, no, yeah, how to make the interviews and how to make the job position attractive for the potential candidates out there.
Hmm.
So thank you for sharing that, because that
Yeah,
tells that to our listeners how important it is to have a good
definitely.
hiring process in the interview and showing that real interest on people. Did you ever imagine that you will step into a role focused on employee success?
No, I didn't. What I initially interviewed here for actually was just administration. So I was started in maintenance, in their maintenance department, just doing their general admin. And then I kind of slowly worked my way into coordinating between departments. They started up their water management division, so I started working that way. And sooner or later, I started coordinating between their enhancements team, their maintenance team, and their water management team. So I never saw myself doing this. Um, but I did from the start really enjoy being able to have the freedom to communicate with the production team and kind of help train them and be that bridge between the office and production. And it started off there, and I think that's kind of how I slipped into this role.
Cool, awesome. And that's I think that was one of the main things that caught my attention about your profile, because it's really very unusual to see this job title in a company. It is
Yeah.
employee success specialist. Is that
Yes.
your current position? So,
Hmm.
first of all, being a woman in the green industry, right? That's something that kind of brings attention to it. Is becoming more popular, which is great.
Yeah.
And then now when I saw this title, I said, well, employee success specialist. Is honestly that was the first time that I saw that position. And so, do you want to give us a good description of your role? What is your job description, pretty much?
Yeah. Yes, of course. So basically what my job here is exactly what's in the title, is making sure I'm here to make every employee successful. And whether that's helping them with where they want to go in their careers, creating growth plans for them and creating like a clear pathway for where they want to go. Um, Conducting trainings with them, sitting in on meetings and helping be the liaison between departments and helping them understand that. Just general HR as well. If an employee has an issue, they come and talk to me. If an employee has any concerns, any questions, they come and talk to me. Helping with the hiring and recruitments is on my list as well. And um, yeah, it's a little bit of everything that kind of entails supporting our employees.
Awesome. And so how things look from the inside, like behind the scenes, things that people don't see, like you just mentioned about the things you help or you do in the company,
Mhm,
right? Kind of
mhm,
a bridge between employees and management kind of
mhm.
deal. But what are the portion of the role of the job that nobody sees, but it is kind of more like a behind the scenes preparation maybe for this for today, because
Um,
dealing with people is not easy. I mean, doing landscaping is the easy part. You know, go out there
yeah.
and mow and blow. That's the easy portion of the job. But dealing with people, that's a hard part.
It is, but it's also very rewarding.
It is.
I think just always keeping an open mind and remembering that I don't know how people can prepare for it. More so, just stay open minded with everything. Be available. Every day is kind of different, so remember that they're people.
Hmm.
Besides just employees here, they some come to me with their own personal issues and just want to vent and just have somebody that they feel comfortable talking to. So preparing for that, being that person to be able to handle conversations, even if there's nothing you can do about it and they just want to vent, or having to be the person that they come to if they have a real issue and being prepared to step in and assist with that issue.
Right. And knowing Justin and a few people in there, Anthony,
Mhm.
building that culture in K&D is important, right?
Yeah.
Is a strong portion of them as a company. What's the hardest part of building that culture from your part, from your role?
Um, I would say uh, gaining the trust um, in our culture, which is mainly Hispanics, that is in our industry and in our company. Um, Gaining their trust is not easy, and but once you do get it, it's like you win such a huge prize. And you're like, oh my god, they trust me. I feel good, and that's probably the biggest challenge. But it's also like the best thing once it does happen, and once they do trust in not only you, but trust in the company, trust in the vision, trust in what you say. Um, I think that's the great
Yeah.
part.
En, tú mencionaste algo importante o algo interesante que pasa en la
Mhm,
industria. La mayoría de los empleados son latinos o hispanos,
mhm,
por lo tanto hablan español.
mhm.
Tú hablas español, ¿cierto?
Sí, sí hablo
Ok,
español.
vamos a hacer algo único por primera vez en el show. Vamos a hacer una parte de la entrevista en español. Así que, ¿qué tan importante es, Chantel, que una compañía en la industria tenga personal que sea bilingüe, ya sea español o cualquier otro idioma
Mhm.
que sea necesario en su compañía? ¿Qué tan importante es para poder ganar confianza de los empleados y poder seguir creando esa cultura?
Creo que es una de las cosas más importantes solamente porque es difícil, especialmente en nuestra cultura, ganar a una persona, porque si no puedes comunicarte bien con ellos, no sienten que los entiendes, no sienten que realmente los estás escuchando. Pero sí, cuando puedes tener la conversación con ellos y enseñar que sí los escuchas y sí los entiendes y tú también puedes platicar con ellos, fotografiar con ellos o conectarte con ellos en diferente manera. Ah, creo que eso es una de las cosas más importantes para que ellos se sientan cómodos. Porque si no estás cómodo, no tienes la confianza, nunca vas a ganar. Nunca te vas a ganar.
See, oh, perfect. Yeah, be able to communicate with them in their own language is important. Gain the trust. They were able to communicate, to probably explain the issues better,
Mhm.
and then they feel more comfortable talking to others. So that's great. And I know earlier you mentioned it a little bit, but what's the most rewarding part of your work or your role?
I think when an employee comes and they want more and they just don't know how to get there or they don't think it's possible for them. And sometimes it starts like just a conversation of, they're struggling here and this is, where they feel they just want to be heard. And being able to be like, oh, I can help you. I can build a plan for you and we can create milestones for you and we can get you there. And even if at first they don't trust it or they're like, what? At the end, once they do, reach those goals and reach those milestones and, get a promotion or get more money or whatever, they're seeking at that time and just having them be not thankful towards me, but thankful towards the fact that somebody like believed in them or someone saw that in them, even if they didn't, and supported them the entire way. And them just achieving where I knew they could get. That's much
Yeah.
of
Great, great. And, being in an industry for a while, it is, I say early it is easy, but it is hard to do landscaping, right? Working on the heat, on the environmental conditions that are not always the best or the more comfortable. How do you manage when you have to talk to somebody a very difficult conversation, like maybe a safety violation or something that in advance that is not going to be an easy talk. How do you manage that with an employee?
um, well, here at K&D, my role is unique, so I do have the freedom and the opportunity to be on site a lot and go and visit them at their actual job sites and see what they're doing. So get myself out of my environment and really go into their environment. And it's helped me understand how they see things and what their day to day looks like. So when an issue does occur, like a safety violation or, something that I do have to have a tough conversation with them on, instead of bringing them back into the office and it being like a scary thing, even if the
Yeah.
conversation is serious, just going into their environment where they feel more comfortable and where they feel like they aren't being attacked or it's not seen so instantly. They don't go into instant defense. Um, I think that's helped out a lot. Is that I'm able to go ahead and do that and have those conversations. And I built a really good foundation with the employees here, where they've gotten to know me um, and how I work, and they see me not as HR, or they don't see me as just the office, you know, person coming out here. They do see me as a friend, but also in the same year, they respect my role. So it's really funny when I go out there and I'm like serious, like they can tell, like, oh, she came out here for a conversation with someone, or she came out here because something's going on. and they
Something
can,
happened.
yeah, they can read me really easily where she's coming out to just check in on us and say hi to us and bring us a water or snack, or she's coming in because we did something, or she
Yeah.
wants to talk to us or something happened. But I think
Well,
taking those tough conversations out of just the office and bringing it into their environment and where they're comfortable was helped a lot.
that's a really that's a really cool tip. Instead, bringing people into the office. I really love that quote. Just go to their environment
Mhm.
and just have that conversation in there, right? For the most part, if it's possible, because that way they feel comfortable. Like it's a neutral zone.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And do you really see or notice a difference? Like I believe sometimes you have to do that in the office or in the shop or something like that. But do you really see a difference doing those type of conversations on, let's say, in the office or in the shop in the yard versus being out there probably in a property or something like that?
I do. I do see the difference because I feel like, and maybe it's just our guys, but I feel like when they are brought into the office for a serious conversation, or we brought into the office, they see it more like everybody knows, or everybody knows I got called in, or got quit from the job site, and everybody knows this is going to happen, and there's speculation this and speculation that. Um, so when it is brought more to their environment, it's very much like the conversation is had, the issue is addressed, this is what's going to happen. And then they're able to go back into their normal routine, and it's not um, instantly like, why'd you get called into the office, or what
Yeah.
happened there? And, rumors start happening and little conversations out in the field. And it's more of like, oh man, dude, you got called out for that. Like, don't do that again. Or, hey, this happened and don't have to come out here like that again. Like
Yeah.
they almost see it more of like, she did you a favor. She's helping you out by coming and having a conversation with you here, so it doesn't become a bigger issue, or more of like a respect kind of thing for them. I think
Mhm.
is a bigger thing.
Yeah, no, definitely, and it is awesome that kind of bringing down that wall, the first impression, kind of opens the doors to a more uh, maybe like friendly, open discussion, and then address the issue without all those extra factors around that could affect the outcome of the conversation. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
being a woman, being a female in the industry, you mentioned it a little bit early. They see you as a friend, but still respect you and your position and your role. How you do that? How do you um, create that relationship with employees, in this case being a males, but at the
Mhm.
same time put that line and making sure they understand that yes, you're there to help them, but at the same time, being a woman, you have to do your job, and making sure they stay with align with the principles and the company.
Yeah. I think my strong personality, and because I'm looking at, helps, just because um, I think I'm able to establish, like, we're friends, puedo cotorrear, we can have the conversations, we could be friendly when I'm here for that. Um, but when I'm here to talk to you seriously, or when I'm here to have, you know, a conversation that may be tough, or when I'm here to bring this to your attention, or, you know, fix the situation, just establishing that off the bat of like, I'm here for different business, and or I need to talk to you in a different level. Just being very straightforward with it, and not trying to beat around the bush, or try to lie to them, or try to make light of a situation. Um, just be very direct with them when I need to be, and be very, um, this is still my job at the end of the day. Um,
Yeah.
is
Oh,
is a
cool.
huge thing. It's just establishing that off from the start.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. Great. And, you know, we can say that your position involved being a leader, right? Because
mm,
you have to manage people and kind of lead by example and things like that. When you think about leadership, real leadership, what does that mean to you?
um, it means a lot of things. I think luckily I'm in a position in a company where I work around a lot of like-minded people. So everyone on our team is leaders, and everyone encourages each other to be leaders. So I think just being always like reminded and always talked about, and it's something that's ingrained in this company. Um, is huge. We have a lot of programs that help with that, and Justin has his. He had us go through a 6-week accelerated leaders program where he gave us a lot of insights, and we were very lucky to have that. And we have monthly leadership meetings with our VP of construction. We call it the future leaders of K&D. So having just that in consistent rotation and seeing examples of it every day and help with that and how much they support that.
Cool. Awesome. And your point of view, what qualities make a leader worth following?
Um, I think someone who's caring, who um, lives out what they say. They say they're going to do something, they do it. Having respect for everyone in their team, humble. If it's more of like you don't tell someone what they're going to do, you're showing them, you're leading by example, you're speaking straight to them, you're, you know, presenting yourself in the best way possible up front.
Mm-hmm.
Make someone want to lead you. Let me follow you. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And any any lesson that you feel like every supervisor or manager in the green industry should understand about people?
I think at the end of the day, people just want to be heard and seen. And the way you lead them, you should lead by example. So if, you know, the situation occurs, how would you want it to be handled with you if you have to have a tough conversation, put yourself in their position, and how do they come across to you? And, you know, I feel like the leader too should know, like, if, like me and my, as example, if I expect someone, a subordinate of mine to do something, I should know how to do it, and I should be able to fill in and help them out and support them in whatever way I can, so that I understand them and hear them, and I'm able to relate to whatever it is, whether they're doing their job or there's some challenge that they're going through. To be able to relate, hear, understand.
Yeah. Care for people. Awesome. That's great. Before we wrap up the conversation, I always like to ask my guest, what do you think about the future of the industry? I know you're new in the green industry, but first of all, what changes you feel we need to make if we want to attract the new generation? Because a lot of people in the industry now is like, I don't say old, but we're becoming old, and we
Yeah.
need new blood. So, what do you think we should change or do different to be able to attract the younger people?
I think just showing that you're adaptable, and kind of go with what's going on. Like right now, AI and technology is a huge thing, and that's something I know K&D is really taking on and leveraging and using. And it's something that, like, I ask when I'm doing interviews with people is like, how are you with technology? Because everything we do here is based around technology. Because that's the world
Mhm.
we live in right now, and being able to be adaptable in that, and that also attracts people, like even hiring and even applying it online, and it's easy for you. And however we can make things easier and more efficient, um, really attracts people. The more you can do and the more you can stay with what current times are. It's
Yeah. Yeah, great. And once now that people is being hired, now how we do keep talent, how we keep them involved with the company.
That's something huge here too. I know in like my particular role, once an employee is hired, it doesn't end there. They come in and do the paperwork, but then I have bi-weekly check-ins with them, and whether that's me bringing them into the office and having a quick 10, 15-minute check-in with them every other week, or going out to their uh, where they're at, their job site, or their environment, checking in on them. We also have 90-day check-ins with their direct supervisor. So it's just a constant being available to them and constantly showing them, like, you are cared about as a person here. We care about you. How are you feeling now in your 90 days? How are you feeling in 2 weeks? So what have you learned? What have you grown? Do you have any questions? Do you feel supported? Are you clear on what's expected of you? Just consistently being available and showing up and just being consistent.
No, great, awesome, great input, great tips for our listeners. And Chantel, before we close, I want to give you the space to speak directly to the people in this industry, the ones waking up before the sunrise. The balance life, responsibilities, dreams, questions, everything. If you could leave them a message, one truth from your journey, what would you tell them?
Mhm. I would say keep going. Things, keep pushing through. I know it's hard. And I know it's, whatever challenge you're dealing with, whatever situation you may be in, there is always light at the end of the tunnel, and there are people in your corner helping you out. And as long as you seek those, and take the help when it's offered, and know that it will get better, or things will work out, or whatever is going on, and just keep going would be the biggest thing, and work towards something great, and get there and create challenge, like goals, create goals, and work towards them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. And Chantel, thank you so much for your honesty and for your inputs today, for the time, for sitting down in this busy day or your agenda and just be able to talk about the most important asset we have in our industry, which is people. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. This is the you have listened to the Green Talk podcast, where we talk about real stories, where leadership rise and where the heart of the industry keeps beating strong. I'm your host, Ms. Rain Mata, and I will see you the next time. Thank you so much.